those guys were fucking rock stars. And in my team, I had like 4 first draft picks from OTC. We were flying around in Black Hawks, smashing people up. It was everything that I wanted. And the guy that we're after pops up like this out of his bed, and I can start to hear praying, and that's never a good sign because he's going to clack himself off in a minute. So I just dump 3 or 4 rounds into him, and I get a phone call. And I was like, what do you mean Matt's been killed? And I was like, John Dunbar's been killed as well. There's a posting coming up to the unit for 1 year. Do you want to go? I was like, of course I do. So I did. They sent me over to Bragg. I lived in Pinehurst. Southern Pine, sorry, not Pinehurst. Lived in a house there, embedded myself with the squadron. I was made to feel super welcome. Like, those guys were fucking rock stars. Honestly, I have never been so impressed by a team as I have with those guys there. As assaulters, and I say this with the utmost respect to everyone else, the best assault teams that I've ever worked with, just primarily on shooting and CQB and assaulting, there's nothing on earth that compares to those fucking guys in that unit. And in my team, I had like 4 first draft picks from OTC. So they were fucking rock stars.
Shit.
Yeah, it was super impressive. I remember being humbled the first day I got there. It was like we went and shot a Bianchi cut pistol shoot. And I was okay with a pistol. With a long gun, I'm hold my own. But at the time, pistol shooting wasn't really something that we did that much. We didn't have red dots. Like, it was there if you needed it. It was very much a secondary mentality, whereas these guys are shooting pistol all the time. They shoot more pistol than they do rifle. So 5 meters, 10 meters, 15 starts to fall off a little bit. Now I'm back at 20, and guys, it's comedy, but they're like handing me magazines. I'm trying to knock these plate racks over, trigger discipline shit, fucking all over the place. And I was like, fuck, every day we'd have a shooting competition for the most part. Half the day would be CQB, half the day would be shooting, or we'd do some climbing or some fitness stuff in between. But for the most part, shooting and CQB was what we did every day, which is why they're so good at assaulting. They're not fucking around training guys to be JTACs or, you know, surveillance operators or any of that stuff. They're just thoroughbred assaulters. And they are, in my opinion, the best guys that I worked with, hands down. So it was a fucking pleasure, because I love that. I love being an assaulter. When people ask you, well, I'm an assaulter, that's what I do. I'm a CQB instructor, you know, that was my bread and butter. So I realised very quickly that I had to up the game. So for the first 4 months, I used to turn up early at work. I used to go on the ranges on my own. I used to stay after work on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I'd take 1,000 rounds and I'd go on the range and I'd just press that trigger and just learn how to press a trigger and hold the gun properly and just pistol. And I stopped finishing 6th, and then I finished 5th. And after a while, I might finish 4th. Some days, fuck it, I might even come 2nd, or I might even win one, you know? And it was just that constant having to improve. Like, that's where I really started to dial into the craft. You know, that's where it really happened, because my pistol shooting was not where it needed to be, and I felt a lot of responsibility going over there representing my regiment in front of the unit in a team of all-stars. It's a lot of pressure. So I threw myself at it, and, you know, that, I think that gained a lot of trust and respect in the squadron, because they knew that I sucked at pistol, but I was out there fucking working to get better, and none of them made me feel like a dick. None of them, there was no ego, no bullshit. They adopted me as a brother straight away. They treated me like one of their own, invited me to their homes, met their families. Like, I was part of their team, and I am deeply grateful and deeply impressed by the organisation as a whole, but the individuals and the level of compassion that they showed me was second to none. And I'm deeply, deeply proud of my time with the guys at the unit. And, you know, fast forward a few months, it's coming up to deployment time. And I'm like, I remember one of the guys came over to me and he gave me a US flag. He's like, you going to wear that? And I said, am I allowed to wear that? And he was like, fuck yeah, you are. So I put my fucking US flag on my chest and I wore that with fucking pride. It goes back to my fucking association with the United States military. I've been in those fucking fields with those Marines. I've been in those positions where them helicopters, if they don't come, your casualties don't get out. They're putting in those Pedros. They're putting in those fucking call signs on a fucking, you know, tiny little hot landing zone. The RAF won't come in to get us. US pilots come and get us every single time. You know, the assets that they gave us, standing side by side with US Marines, fighting, watching each other bleed and die. Like, I fucking respect that flag to death, and I'd die for it. So to be asked if I would wear it was one of the proudest moments of my military career. And I fucking wore that with absolute pride. And I took that flag to war. And yeah, I'm proud that I did that. I've got some fucking cool pictures from it as well. it really did mean a lot to me that I got to wear that flag. And initially my deployment was kind of strange because my team went to Syria and I didn't have permissions to go to Syria, which was a weird situation to be in. But they were looking at a different target set than the one that the UK had permissions for. Bullshit bureaucracy, all bad guys. What's the fucking difference? Kind of was how I looked at it. So I spent all of that time working up with that same team, like for months, as tight as we could be. Those teams are way tighter than our troops for sure. We eat together, we train together, we shoot together, we lift together, like everything together. 6-man team. I'm Bravo 6, right? So I'm Bravo 6. And they all go and I don't get to go with them. I have to go somewhere else. So I go to Iraq. So I'm in Iraq now. My team's over there and I'm dislocated from them. So I'm out there doing a job down in Sulaymaniyah. We're doing bits and pieces with a partner force down there, CTD, CTG, all those guys, great time. And then Troop Sergeant Major comes and he's like, do you want to go to the ETF, which is the task force? They're the ones doing the real sexy missions, right? The raids, the fucking high value targets, not the stuff different from what the team in Syria was doing. This was a different troop, different task, different mission set. But it was really what I wanted to be doing. And he was like, I said to him, do I have permission? And he's like, there's a helicopter coming in tonight. I suggest you get on the helicopter, get up there and we'll figure it out. And I did. I got welcomed into the team like a fucking brother. They put me in that chew and I became just one of them. And again, we ate together, trained together, watched fucking Netflix for hours together. And then we went on operations and we fucking tore it up together. It was a really, it was probably the best deployment I've ever done. We were flying around in fucking Black Hawks, smashing people up, and it was fucking great. And it was everything that I wanted and thought that unit would be about. The level of professionalism.
Building.
What do you think, Shawn?
We're high.
Not only from the operators, but from the 160th guys all the way down to the targeteers. Those fucking aviation pilots are incredible. Like, those Night Stalker dudes are fucking so impressive. And it was felt really close. It did. I remember on one, it was the second one. It was the second job that I did with them. The troop sergeant, we've been looking at this compound, and the troop sergeant, the TL of the team was like, I need you to be off the Black Hawk and I need you to secure that window on the western side of this compound. And I'm like, roger that, Sarge. Like, I've been in the regiment for about 7-8 years now. Like, you want me to run off a Black Hawk and just cover down on that one window? I can do that. You understand? I'm like, fuck yeah. So I do. I get out. We landed like as we're going on an infill. The DAPs are lighting up this guest house. They're like literally as we're coming in, doors are open. Like we're fucking on the ramp. On the tailgate essentially. It wasn't a little bird. It was a Black Hawk. We're sat on the edge of the bird like this. The doors are open and you can just see the whole thing. DAPs are coming in, shooting shit with rockets. So I was like, this is fucking cool. If you can take a snapshot that you do with an iPhone and just have that picture in your head, it would be like, yeah, this is cool. I come straight off the bird, straight to where I need to be. What we thought was a window was not a window. It would just look like that from the IR signature. It was actually a piece of like polystyrene and there was a heat source coming out of it. So my aperture is not a fucking aperture. It's a fucking, so I'm now redundant. So I'm like, I need to get in the fight here. As soon as we're off, there's a gunfight happening. People are getting engaged on two-way gunfight, unsuppressed weapons going back towards the assault force. And I sort of poked my muzzle through this piece of polystyrene, styrofoam, right? You call it, you know, like you know what I mean? They make cups out of it, you know what I'm talking about. So I like punched this through. It was the winter time, so they used it for insulation. In the summer, I think they pop it out for air. But I punched it through, and the guy that we're after pops up like this out of his bed from no different from me to you away, 3-4 meters, and it's our guy, clear as fucking day. He's got the same shitty haircut, same scraggly beard, like, and he's got this. You can see his weapons right next to him. He's got a chest rig right next to him. And he's kind of like this, between helicopters landing and me being at that aperture seconds, it's that fast. And I'm there and I see him and he comes up bolt upright like that. And I can see him just about to do that. So I just dump 3 or 4 rounds into him straight away. As soon as I do that, somebody else in the room pops up and he's now trying to get to that weapon system. So I lit this dude up as well. So this is like within the first minute of basically being there. Then a fucking huge explosion goes off in the front of the building. This guy had brought his family into the room that he was in. He called his family out. So they ran across the frontage of the building where all the guys were stacked up. A wife and 2 kids. He brought them in, called them into the room that he was in, and then clacked himself off. So the guys are dealing with that on the front side of the building. I'm now maneuvering around the back side of the building where the rest of my teammates are, locking down the back side. And then it happens, the fucking explosion happens, and I'm just like, fuck me. The whole wall just goes out and goes back in. It's like, you know, them slow motion, surreal moments. It was really like that. It was almost silent. But my whole team was stacked up on that. And I literally walk around the corner and it just goes. And there's a fucking whole bunch of dust and smoke. I get hit on the head with this fucking big rock. My ears are ringing. This is a crazy fucking 2 minutes. I've just jumped off the back of a helicopter, shot a couple of dudes. Now my team's been blown up. Like, this is fucking nuts.
Shit.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. And what had happened is somebody in that building had clacked themselves off. There was a whole bunch of SFS in this building. But because of the thickness of the walls, it had absorbed most of the blast. And instead of crushing on the guys or blowing the guys up, what happened is it actually just blown them out, if that makes sense. But I didn't know that. So the team leader's looking at me and I'm going, where's the fucking boys? And I'm like, I don't know where the fucking boys are. They've got to be under there. So I'm now trying to fucking dig out this rubble. There's tons of rubble here now. And I'm like, my fucking, the dudes are underneath there. My team is under there. And I'm like this trying to dig out. And I just see one of them come wandering around out of the dust completely the wrong way. No helmet on, no rifle, no fuck all. And I'm like, I grab him and I'm like, are you good? And he's like, I fucking think so. He's like, where's my gun? Where's my helmet? And I'm like, dude, don't fucking worry. I then send him over to the team leader. And then where's the other 2 guys, right? There's a 5-man team and the team leader's accounted for. I'm accounted for. He's accounted for. 2 more guys unaccounted for. And again, one of them's just like, when the dust settles, just lying there. He didn't have anything blown off. He was all as intact. He was just in shock. Pick him up, send him out, find the other dude. We recover all the equipment. It's just a fucking carnage for a couple of minutes. But it was like, because of that evening and because of those events, what happened, the squadron, or that troop in particular, really respected me. I think I earned their trust because they knew that I would do the right thing at the right time and I would fucking perform when it really mattered, you know. We had a whole bunch of fucking gnarly fucking jobs like that. I remember one particular one where we were closing up on a compound. Again, lessons identified. This is where experience comes into play. Although I was in a team of rock stars, most of those guys had only done 3 or 4 years, or maybe 5. I'd done 8 and a whole bunch of more deployments. So I was more experienced I was as experienced as the team leader, but I was still Bravo 6, and I always was happy to be Bravo 6. Yeah, this one fucking job we did, same thing. It was like we try calling them out, we get engaged on infill, we're not committing assault force to the building because we keep getting blown up. This is like, every single time we go near these buildings, they clack themselves off without fail. You could almost set your watch by it. It's that predictable. So we're going to change our TTPs and tactics. We're just going to stand off and just call these fucking dudes out. We don't need to get close on the building. We learned our lesson the hard way. Luckily, no one got hurt the first time, so we backed off. But then it's like, come out, they're like that. They start firing guns at us. It's like, cool, hit it with the DAPs. So the fucking DAPs will light it up. So same again, come out. No, they fire back. Cool, get the Ranger platoon up here. They'll fire Carl Gustav at it. Boom. And you just do this cat and mouse game until either the building's destroyed or there's no more fight. We need to get the SSE. We can't just kill these people, blow the building up and leave. Like, ultimately, the minute you fire a shot at us or you don't come up with your hands out, you bought a ticket, you voted, it's only going to end one way. Like, these guys are not fucking around. You understand? But we don't want to just destroy the building because otherwise, what's the point in us being there? We might as well have done that with a fucking 500 pounder, you know? So we need to get this fucking information. So anyway, we're going up, we're closing, and we think we're clearing this building. There's like a row of, it's all burnt out at this point, but there's a row of rooms, and we're working sequentially now. So it's my team. We're going from room to room to room, working up to this end one, and we're fragging every room now. So it's hand grenades are going into every single room. Then we put the dog in it. Then we clear it. Right. So this is kinetic. And I can start to hear praying. I can start to hear it. And I'm like, am I fucking losing my mind here? And I've got these peltors, over the ear peltors. So I pop my little thing out, and sure as fuck, I can hear this dude praying. And that's never a good sign, because he's going to fucking clack himself off in a minute. So I'm like, and I tell him, I was like, ah, dude, there's somebody in there. You know, peltor land. He's like, what? And I'm like, there's somebody in that room. And he's like, is there? And I'm like, I can hear him, dude. Like, that's how close we are at this point. And he's like, fuck. All right, cool. So we put the dog in. In fact, we didn't put the dog in. The dog got wind of it and fucking was in there straight away. So now we're in a bad situation, because we've got a dude in there that's definitely going to try and clack himself off, and he's 100% armed. And we've got a dog, which is part of our team, in there. So now we can't just put grenades in there. We can't just put a T-bomb or, you know, whatever it is we want to do to it. We can't fire a hellfire at it. We don't want to lose the dog, obviously. Luckily, because they don't normally come off the bite, we got the dog off the bite. Dog comes off the bite, and then it's like, now it's posting grenades. You know, that's how intimate that is now, to the point where it's like we're fucking having grenades fucking thrown at this geezer to neutralize the threat, you know. But it was extremely violent, those deployments. Like those raids, it was all or nothing with those raids, and that target set. It was either, yeah, they come out with their hands up, they get detained, no shots fired, all good, or it was like they are fighting to the fucking bitter death, and it is going to go on all night, you know, to the point where it almost becomes not worth going, because we know that that's going to happen. So it's like, let's just fucking cut the comedy and just smash it with a 500-pounder and give up on this, because how many operators do we need to risk to get that hard drive or whatever it might be, you know? But we always did it and we made it work. But the level of professionalism that those guys had, second to none. So impressive, that unit. And I came back from that deployment. There was some other stuff with So Matt Tomrow was a good friend of mine. He was out in Syria working his job for the regiment. He was a B squadron guy, and he was hanging around with my team. And I told you my team was over there, my 6-man team. So he used to phone me up, and the TL used to phone me up and be like, you know, oh, I've got a new Bravo 6. You're not Bravo 6 anymore. Matty's taking your spot. And I'm like, fuck, you know, like, the fuck's going on? It's just shit talking. It's all good fun. But when I got out there, he wasn't going on the ground. He was training them to do sniper shit or whatever he was doing, and the partner force. And he didn't really have that connection with Matty until I turned up. And so there's two Matts. One's the team leader and one's Matt Tomrow. So I kind of sat down with Matt Tomrow and I was like, well, why the fuck aren't you not going on the ground? He was like, oh, well, I just haven't really asked. You know, I didn't want to step on anyone's toes. You know, they're doing their own thing. I said, fuck that, dude. You're an awesome operator. Why the fuck would they not want to have an extra pair of eyes on the ground? So I speak to Matt and I'm like, do you mind if Matt goes on the ground with you? Like, can you do that? So he's like, yeah, fucking hell, if you vouch for him. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I fucking trust him. I'd go through the door with him. Like, that's the biggest compliment an operator can tell anyone. Like, I'd fucking go through the door with him any day of the week. So he's like, yeah, cool. So he starts going out on the ground, and I was there for a little while, and we did some jobs together. Then the deployment finishes for us. He stays. He's on a 6-month rotation, and we've come halfway through his. So we do our 4 months, and we go home. New squadron, A squadron come out, and it's only a couple of weeks of being back in Bragg, trying to fucking get your head around that mad deployment. And I get a phone call. And they're like, Matt's been killed. And I was like, what do you mean Matt's been killed? And I was like, Matt's been killed. Something's happened. And John Dunbar's been killed as well. I fucking couldn't shake it, man. For so long, I felt so guilty. So. Yeah. If I hadn't introduced him, he wouldn't have been on that fucking job, you know? That's how I felt about it. And it's taken me a long time to come to terms with that. And I know it's not that. And he wanted to be on that. He wanted to be on that fucking job. But I don't know. That's a hard one for me. Like, I fucking love that dude, you know? And I'm fucking so sorry for him and John and their families. And that fucking broke my heart, man. It really did. That caused me a lot of fucking problems for a long time. I started to drink a lot. I couldn't shake that feeling of guilt. I still feel it, some days more than others. And it was just so hard, man. We had funerals on both sides of the Atlantic. The guys from the unit flew over for Matt's. We had guys fly over for John's. It was like, it ripped our community in half, man. And I know, you know, it's what we do. But this was when I stopped running, Shawn. That explosion and the explosion blew the lid off that box that I told you about before. That was real time for me. I thought all my teammates were dead that day. They weren't. I was lucky. But then when Matt died, that was it. That was what fucking tipped me. And that was 10 years of constant warfare at this time. And it all just fucking came out. And I just fucking lost it. I lost my fucking mind, dude. I finished that deployment with those guys. We buried Matt. We buried John. And then about 2 weeks after that, I went back to the UK. And then very shortly after that, I deployed back out with my own squadron. It was our squadron's time to go out. So I had no time to process that. And I got to theatre and they were like, you're going to go and be the L&O with the unit. So I was back with the unit for another 4 months, which I was fucking happy about. A little bit with A Squadron and then with B Squadron, with Kyle Morgan, actually. We shared a team. We were in the same team. And I was just straight back into the fight. And I was fucking drinking hard. I was just fucking hurting. I was fucking dying inside, you know.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.